What up? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. And I can't even think. Yesterday, I went 1-1, but my bigger play won. So slight profit. I'll take it. Celtics first half was the bigger play. It cashed. I put a little bit on the full game. That did not make it. So another step in the right direction. NBA playoffs now 31-19, about 62%. And we'll try to keep that going here today. We have Mr. Veno once again to help us out. How you doing today, Veno? How did NBA treat you? And did you do a show already today?
No show today. I'll do Wager Talk right after you. And yesterday, I didn't help anybody, not even my own bankroll, with OKC team total over 106.5. Got to 100, won the game, but did not. The first quarter was way too much. I guess maybe the first two quarters, first half was too much to overcome offensively, put up a big fourth, didn't get there. So was a little bit of a setback in what's been a great run here, Skee. I noticed early this morning that you had listed your NBA playoff record, and it's crazy how similar. When I looked at mine, we're almost like identical. I have a 33-21, 61.2%. We're very close in it's so everybody's doing well here. But last night was a setback. Didn't expect OKC to shoot it as poorly as they did. What a comeback, though, for a young team to be able, because it looked like Dallas was on their way to a rout in the first half, and that's not the way it turned out.
Yeah, it did. I thought they had it in the bag. I was rooting for the Mavericks just because I have a future for them in the West, but they couldn't get the job done. Delroy's asking, Skee, do you think the Mavs can win the series? I'm a little worried the way they shot free throws last night. Well, home court advantage is now lost. They're capable of winning on the road. Pretty banged up, but I still think it's possible that they can win the series. How you feel about it, Veno?
Well, to Delroy's point, OKC shoots 24 free throws last night. Dallas shoots 23. It's only a one attempt difference, but OKC scored 11 more points from the foul line. That's pretty drastic to only have one more attempt and have 11 more points. So Dallas was terrible, including Luka at the end when he had a chance to tie, which of course is what I was rooting for, right? I'm rooting for 96-96. Let's go OT and let's cash this over ticket. Didn't happen that way. So yeah, I think Luka mentioned it in his post game. Got to be better shooting free throws. You can't go 12 of 23 in a playoff game when it's played that close. So they can bounce back. They've shown they're a pretty resilient group. I wouldn't put it past Dallas yet. I know I heard a lot this morning about OKC now has home floor advantage, and are they back in control of the series? I don't think just because they won last night, Skee, and I'll bounce it back to you real quick, but off of the way they won last night, I don't think it's got anything to do with them being in control of the series. Now, Dallas was in control of that game for the majority of it, so we'll see.
Yeah, they're playing pretty good defense until they weren't. All right. So we'll see how it shakes out. Believe Hank is the winner here. Light green, first person in the chat to say it. So Hank, reach out and you'll get some lunch today, some free lunch. Appreciate you guys all, guessing to see what the shirt color is for the day. Mike R says, "What up, Skee? I had pepper jack cheese for breakfast. What's your favorite type of cheese? You like that Mexican cheese, huh? I see the Mexican in you." I don't like pepper jack. I know that. I think I like every other cheese that I've come across, unless there's one I don't know. But I'm not too picky. If I have to pick, I'll say American. I'm just simple, but no pepper jack for me. There was one more. Kevin Johnson says, "Skee, does Killer Sports have WNBA?" I don't believe they do. You can try to use a site called Give Me the Dog, and WNBA should work on that one. Delroy is asking for Boofer spreadsheet. There's one more comment here. Where is it? I can't find it, but somebody, I think it was David. He said, "Light green, I'm Veno's neighbor." He was just a little late, though. A little late to the show. Apache, I appreciate you. Said, "Give me some kind words there." And my boy X Nizzle, what up? Says, "Keep killing it, homie. Much love. Smash the like. Y'all run it up. Appreciate you, X Nizzle." And he's going to do a show too, I believe, today. It's when you do the live sweat. So make sure y'all check him out. I'll be posted on Twitter, etc. I'll see if I can find it and retweet it for you guys. Hank M says, "I'm the Chris West of this shit. Let's go." The shirt picking. Let's get to it. We got a lot of games to talk about today, not just NBA, but a little bit of WNBA as well. And the season is just beginning, so we're not going to get too crazy in depth, but we will talk about them all. First up, and Vino, I know you said you want to get more into WNBA this year because you're taking a little bit of a backseat in MLB, and I know you followed it a little bit, at least capped some of them with me before. So we'll rock right along like we always do. Liberty and Mystic, and I messed this up. Oh no, it is at the Mystics. Mystics are plus 11. Total is 164 and a half. Injury report. You do have Shakira Austin probable. I believe she's gonna play, but be on a minutes limit. She had like what was it? She had that hip injury last year that kind of kept her out of a lot of games. So I think they're just being cautious with her coming back. Who knows how many minutes she'll play in this game, but I don't think it'll be a normal workload. The Liberty, I believe they have everybody returning except for Marine Johannes. And all that makes me think is, they have a lot of cohesion. They're missing a little bit of pace, but they're more than capable of handling this Washington Mystics team. Mystics missing Deladon. Mystics have Austin banged up, and they lost Natasha Cloud, who, great defender, great leader, et cetera over there. So I think Washington has lost a lot of talent, and I'm not sure that they can keep up in this game. Like if this is the Washington, granted they still have a good coach, et cetera, whatever, the son of, whatever. But if this was the normal Washington team just returning, they're always good in the first half, and they always play slow. They always play good defense. It's just so many moving parts. I'm unsure that it will remain that way. One thing I think I do expect is that they'll struggle on offense. So if I'm playing this game, which this is the only game I didn't play, I'll be leaning towards under. I see it's gone down about point and a half. Best number you get is 164 and a half from 166. So that's my recommendation on that. Any opinion or any thoughts, Vino?
My only thought, Skee, and again, I'm doing way more listening early on than I am doing betting or giving advice to your audience here. But my first look is toward first half total, which I thought New York probably with the returning unit that they have. I wish it was at home rather than on the road, but I thought they could come out quickly here. Certainly a high scoring unit. Setbacks, of course, as you mentioned, Washington a little bit deliberate where pace is concerned and more toward the defensive end. But first half total, and I'm just looking now, Skee, it's actually going up a couple of points here from 81.5 to 83.5. I don't think I could revert to Liberty team total simply because of the number here being double digits. And if they are up double digits late, perhaps we don't get a lot of scoring late. Perhaps we get some reserves. So I think I would save it. My look, when I watch tonight, I'll be watching for first half over. That's going to be my look here in this game.
Fair enough. I do view the Liberty as that kind of a team. I struggle with the Mystics, what to expect from them. G Martinez brings up a good point. Says they lost to the Mystics first game last year by 16. Maybe they remember that in our focus. Last year it was, this team just getting together. So they have a lot more chemistry and they're ready to go out the gate this time. Jamrock kicks. Deladon stepped away from basketball. So she's not gone forever, but she's not there now. All right, let's move over to the next game, and that is 623, 624. Indiana and Connecticut opened up Sun minus 5.5. 8-point favorites now. Total has dropped from 170.5 to 166. Caitlin Clark making her WNBA debut. Sadly, looks like Kelsey Mitchell is doubtful, and Dantes is over there now from the Lynx. She's going to be out. Fever. And I'm sorry, for the Sun, looks like Mariah Jefferson is game time decision here. Let's see if I can get more. No, true questionable. So my thoughts here, Rob. I mean, Kelsey Mitchell is a big loss for the Fever. I mean, she's a walking bucket. She can score on anybody. She's been in, top in scoring over the last few years. That's definitely somebody you want if you like the Fever side or you like the over. But just looking at this roster, I mean, they have talent, a lot of young talent for the Indiana Fever. I mean, what did they get? Like 3 top picks in a row? Aaliyah Boston, Nalissa Smith, Caitlin Clark. It's reminding me of, and it's not exactly the same, but it's like I'm viewing them as how the Thunder kind of had to take their lumps and then they'll be really good, like how they're number one this year. That's how I think the Fever are. Caitlin Clark, an amazing player and talent, but I think it's going to take her a little bit of time to adjust to the WNBA. And I think right now she has a target on her back. Nobody wants to let her come in the league and just run the show. Um, so with that said, the Sun, they did have some players. I know they lost what Natisha Heidemann, and there's a couple others. So they did miss a couple pieces that they, for the chemistry part, but the big three is still there. Really 4 out of the 5 starters: Carrington, Bonner, Lissa Thomas, Brianna Jones, and they're just. I view the Connecticut Sun with those players as like a top 4. I'll say top 4ish team. I think they were top 3 last year, but just the level is here for the Sun, in my opinion, and the Fever are just not there yet. I think the Sun will make it a point to welcome Caitlin Clark to the league. I can see Carrington harassing her all game, and Sun also a team that's a very good starting team. Like every game they played the Fever last year, they're up after the first quarter by like 8+ points. They always get out early. I think they were number 3 in first quarter margin behind the Aces and Liberty. So that's what I'm expecting here today. I think they come out here and throw the first punch. They say, hey, rookie, hey, it's not the NCAA anymore. So Sun, first quarter, -1.5 is my recommendation. I might have endorsed the full game, but not getting the ass into the line, 2.5-point move. Any opinion, Veno?
Yeah, again, I looked toward team totals here, Skee. One of the reasons you listed, I thought maybe Indiana team total under in this particular game. Connecticut is a fairly good defensive team from my recollection, and the fact that they will have a point to prove with Caitlin Clark on the other side, and they are at home. So you figure they'll come out with defensive energy, and 70 to get to 79 seems like a lot in a game where there are so many new, it's the Fever playing together for basically the first time, right? This 5. So that led me to, as we often talk about, sometimes not having full cohesion leads to defensive breakdowns. On the other side of that coin is, can Connecticut get over their team totals? So I have looks both ways. The one I probably would prefer, I think, is Connecticut team total over in this instance. Think that defensive assignment breakdowns are probably much more likely with Indiana. And I don't know, Skee, I'm going to have to watch, but you can help me here. I just get the feeling that Indiana with Caitlin Clark is going to play with a lot of pace, which increases opportunities, which Connecticut might get easy buckets on this team. So again, I have not made an official play. My bankroll won't suffer or gain due to WNBA tonight, but I will be on the lookout for those couple of things as far as team totals are concerned. Indiana, possibly under, but I think I would lean more towards Connecticut getting to the 87 mark here.
And I agree with the point that the Fever are going to want to play up tempo. But one thing, you have to get some stops to be able to get out in transition. So I think they'll try their best. I'm not sure how many stops they're going to get in this game. Connecticut side, like you said, their defense is legit. I do expect them to get stops, and when they do, I mean, if you haven't seen, you'll see it here tonight. Lissa Thomas going to be grabbing those boards, and she's out immediately. She's pushing a break, and they're not looking to wait around. So I can understand the Connecticut team total. I agree with your point about the Fever, and I think we broke that game down pretty good. So let me see. I did bring up a lot of these comments on the screen already. Boofer's asking about Clark assist look. Look, WNBA player props have not been available very long, and I don't think I've ever even bet one. So I'm not going to be big in the WNBA prop market, but just thinking about the game, I think, like I said, Caitlin Clark is going to get harassed all game, and they'll probably force her to pass. So I'm not mad at an assist look. This is what I'm locked in, like Kevin Johnson said, Connecticut first quarter. All right, next game up, Rob. We have 625, 626, Minnesota Lynx, Seattle Storm. Opened up Storm -10. They're now 7.5-point favorite. Total open 165.5 and looks like 165. Not too much movement. Injury report. Looks like everybody's pretty healthy here. How I view this game is, I mean, we just kind of mentioned how the Liberty, they put that good team together and they were slow out the gate last year. They lost by 16 to the Mystics. I mean, it's just a lot of new pieces over here for the Seattle Storm. And I like the makeup of this roster. I love Skylar Diggins-Smith. I love NECA. I love Jewel Lloyd. I love them all. I think they're going to be, really good, just like the Liberty were. I'm just not sure that happens out the gate. This Lynx team has a great coach, Coach Reeve, and they've already been with each other, or at least majority of these players have already been with each other. So they have that cohesion and chemistry. So Lynx, this is off the top of my head. Lynx as a double-digit dog, or maybe it's a double-digit road dog, one of the two. They were 6-1, 5-2 against the spread, something like that the past couple seasons. I just think it's too many points to give a team coached that well with as much talent as they had. So I did take the opening line, Minnesota Lynx +10. I'm still not willing to lay 7.5 with Seattle the first game. Like I said, I think it takes some time. So I hate getting the ass into the line like everybody else would have to get right now, but I'm still only betting the Lynx at 7.5. How you feel about it, Veno?
Yeah, it's funny. In my notes, Skee, next to this game, I have like 4 question marks and then a little note to myself to pay attention because I knew I'd be on with you today. I have a certain, I don't know, affection for the way Nafisa Collier plays down low. Ever since her UConn days, I just like, and Kayla McBride, ex-Notre Dame girl, who it just seems to me like she's 20 points a game at any point in time. So I thought Minnesota might be fairly live here. You have to tell me, though, about this Seattle roster, because when I first was making notes here, I questioned their size. Is this a smallish team, or is this? It looked to me just on list of their roster that they were a little bit on the small side compared to what Minnesota might bring.
They're going to be all right. They'll be just fine with NECA and Izzy. I don't think it's a size issue tonight.
So in that case, I got too much respect for the other two on the other side, McBride and Collier, to go ahead and lay points. But I could see where that backcourt is pretty explosive, Lloyd and Diggins-Smith. So we'll wait. Like I said, a lot of question marks after that game. Don't really have anything where I could make a point toward side or total.
Fair enough. I'm excited for this Storm team. I am. I love Skylar Diggins-Smith. She's a dog. Jewel Lloyd. I mean, don't call the Gold Mamba. She get that name for a reason, and it's some talent on this Storm team. So looking forward to
commercials now too. Jewel Lloyd in a TV commercial.
Mm-hmm. I saw them at the airport. I think it was last season. Damn, they all big, man. It's like you see them on the TV, but I'm walking to the airport. I'm like walking past them. All right, let's keep it going. We'll go Mercury and Aces. This game opened up Aces -13.5, 3-point move to 16.5. Total open 171. Looks like 169.5 right now. And I think that move, I mean, Griner was ruled out and Chelsea Gray was ruled out. So I know when Chelsea Gray was ruled out, it immediately dropped. She does bring a lot of pace and, she runs the offense for this team. So that is going to hurt. I did bet this game early. I took it over before she was ruled out. So I'm locked in. The Aces are still capable. I mean, I don't think I have to explain how great of a team they are, how good they are at scoring. And you're missing some rim protection with Brittany Griner out of this game for the Phoenix side. So I think the over still can make it. Obviously, I don't love it as much as, with Chelsea Gray out there. But it's the way I thought to play this game, especially with this humongous spread. Any opinion from you, Veno?
Yeah, well, I think the same way, Skee. And when I saw Brittany Griner out of this game, it just brings into question when you look at the players on the Phoenix Mercury side. This has to be a size issue for Phoenix. It just has to be. It doesn't look like a ton of rim protection there. It looks like, from what I watched of them last year, a lot of pace. with Tarasi and Sophie Cunningham, ex-Mizzou star. So, yeah, I could still see this game getting over. To me, the Aces are going to get a lot of easy buckets. Their team totals, I'm going to look it up right now real quick. If I remember right, last year, constantly in the 90s. Here we're looking again at 93.5. I do worry about blowout status in a game like this, Skee, if they continue to play. But Las Vegas still very capable of 94 points in this game. This doesn't look like much of a contest to me, where Phoenix and Las Vegas are concerned. So I'd probably look at the defending champs. I don't know if they're hanging a banner tonight. Maybe they are. Banner nights usually don't work out real well for teams either. So maybe temper the Las Vegas look a little bit. But I do think there's going to be a lot of scoring in that game.
Man, I wish Chelsea Gray was in there because I loved it with Chelsea Gray, but I still think it'll be pretty high scoring without her. Prolific says, so excited for the WNBA. Tired of these damn finals, conference finals. I think he's talking about for the NBA. One thing about WNBA, man, is we don't have to wait for the playoffs. These ladies are going to play hard every single game, and that's what I really love about it. And we got through the WNBA card for today, so quick breeze through. Maybe we'll get more in depth as the season starts to get along. But if you guys are listening, I played 3 of those games. 3 out of 4, I actually have my money on. Good stuff, Mr. Veno discussing them. There was something from the beginning of the show I wanted to bring up that I forgot. So I guess we'll have a mid-show real quick story time before we move to NBA. Veno, I've said this plenty of times, but I've asked people to make sure that your username for YouTube matches the Discord username. So it's easy for me to get through everybody and make sure, we know who you are and you're supposed to be there. So yesterday, I stopped being the nice guy, start being the hard ass, and I went through the list, and there was a lot that didn't match up. And when I'm going through the list for about an hour and a half, when I get to the end, I'm kind of just like, I think I'm making mistakes. So I deleted probably a good amount of people who are supposed to be there. I put a message out and let them know that. But this is a message that I got. And I just wanted to reply here. I'm not going to put it on the screen because I decided I don't want to single this person out. They said, the Great Purge. I guess being a longtime YouTube member and buying tons of your Wagertalk picks while having the same Discord and YouTube usernames isn't enough from getting kicked off your Discord. I'll just cancel my membership and listen for free. So to this person, a couple of things I would like to say. One, you were one of the people who I know that I accidentally deleted right when I did it. First, when I seen this comment, I didn't know it was you because the name pops up different than it does on YouTube. But when I looked at the email, it pops up like it does on my list. And I said, oh, that's the guy that I accidentally clicked the button on. And I tried to message him back and get him back on, but he doesn't accept messages from people he's not in a group with, et cetera, et cetera. So I knew it was a mistake. I acknowledge it was a mistake in my post. And I don't know what you want me to do. Like, what am I supposed to do? People make mistakes. You think I want to kick people out who are the members? No, it's not. It's not what I'm trying to do here. So I appreciate all of you guys who are members. I appreciate all of you guys who watch the show. I'm not. I don't know if you want me to beg you to come in and be a member. I don't beg anybody for anything. So I want to let everybody know that you are appreciated. And just like I said in the post on YouTube, it was not intentional if you were wrongly removed. So that's all I wanted to say there. All right, let's move on over to the NBA. That will be first game is my bad. Get these. I'm a little bit all over the place now. Indiana and New York, 5-17, 5-18. New York opened as a 2-point favorite. They're now a 1-point favorite. Total open 217 and hasn't really moved. Injury report, stuck on WNBA mode, but I'm gonna go to you really quick, Rob. I mean, we all know how banged up this New York Knicks team is. That last game, for one, I feel like they should have won that other game when Nembhard hit the game-winning 3. Mm-hmm. Because it's tough when you have OG going down and you're already thin with everybody else, Randall down, Robinson down. Bogdanovich down, etc. Like we already said before the series started that the longer the series goes on, it's going to favor the Pacers because the Knicks were kind of falling apart. Now here we are, series is tied. They look pretty damn gassed in that last game. My first thought was, what do they have left in the tank here tonight? But as I think more about it, Rob, the Pacers in that last game, what they shoot like 45% from three. I think like 60 something percent from the field. The Knicks, they shot what 19% from three. Couldn't really get anything to go. I mean, I think we see some regression from one side, progression from the other, especially because the Knicks are at home. Like, yes, the Knicks rely on Jalen Brunson heavily, and yes, he's banged up. But we all know role players play better at the house. So I do expect some others to step up in this game for the New York side. And also, I think that was just a tough spot to be in for New York in the situation that they're in. Like they finished that game where Nimhard hit the three. They didn't really have much time before the next game. And I feel like that's why we saw them look the way that they did. It was an early game, etc. But the starters didn't play the end of the game. They had a day. Now they get a night game. I feel like this is the game where they look a little bit more refreshed, where they come out and give a much better effort. So I want to be on the Knicks. More I think about it here, Rob, if the Pacers role players are not stepping up, I mean, I think the Knicks can absolutely get it done. And at the end of the game, there's one team I trust a hell of a lot more. There's one player I trust more than the other team in total, and that's the Knicks and Jalen Brunson. Like I don't want anything to do with the Pacers if this is a close game in the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. That's when I feel like they will implode. So I'm looking at the Knicks here. -1, you're just asking them to win. I think they can get the job done. I feel like if the Pacers were really the side, they would be the favorite. So Knicks is the direction I'm leaning. How do you feel about it?
A lot of ways, but the simplest one, Skee, and you brought it up yesterday with your Celtics first half play. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I don't know what's broke about playing Indiana team total. At 108. Now, I looked it up. Indiana's gone over 108 in 8 of their last 9 playoff games so far this postseason. The Knicks have given up over 108 in 7 of their last 8. The two are just the perfect match for each other here. New York is obviously, you went through their injury list, and we knew we're being a little bit repetitive here because we talk about this series every other day, but we knew that Indiana would never let off the gas pedal in this series, knowing that the Knicks were depth shy. We're going to run, we're going to run, we're going to run. Now, to your point about playing the Knicks have won high-scoring games in this particular series. I mean, they won the first 2 in MSG by scoring 121 and 130. So two things can be true at the same time. Indiana can get over 108 and still lose this ball game. They've done it twice already in this series, and they've done it both times here at Madison Square Garden. To the positive regression for the Knicks, there has to be some. 7 of 37 from 3, like you said, 19%, 33% from the field. Got off to that really, really slow start. Tom Thibodeau almost looked Skee in that game in the first half when they were getting simply destroyed, like he was just throwing it to the wind. Like, let's just chalk this one up. No timeouts called. Just let it go. We're banged up. We're tired. We're beat up. We'll sacrifice one. You never want to think that that's the case in a playoff series, but that's just kind of the way it looked. Knicks tried their best third quarter, came out of the locker room with a little bit of steam, but I'd expect them to be charged up here. The crowd will be charged up here. All that being said, I still don't think they can stop Indiana from getting to 109. And we know what Indiana's defense is. Not that great. Now, they've made a defensive switch, right? This Aaron Nesmith on Jalen Brunson deal seems to be working a little bit for Indiana. We'll see if it continues to work tonight. I think Jalen Brunson's a little motivated here, Skee, because we'll talk about the next game next. They got their own interactions. But somebody, and I don't know if it was Tyrese Halliburton or somebody, said something to Brunson after that game was over the other night, and Brunson just gave him a look like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? There's a little something here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is, again, a real high-scoring game. Indiana has not had to shoot 45% from 3 to get over 108. They hadn't done it in any other game yet. Their series number from 3-point range after 4 games is 41.5%. And they're just killing the Knicks from 3 in every game, really. So I like Indiana team total over 108, and I could certainly understand playing the Knicks at home in a, this is always the crucial game, right? 2-2 game 5, always crucial. So if it comes down to a matter of trust, like you say, you trust Brunson, and I would be right there with you. You have to trust the Knicks in a close game at the end.
You said that number is 108?
108.
Yeah, if you tell me that, Pacers score 108, 109, I do think this game gets over. We know the Pacers are going to play up tempo. It's not, the most. I mean, you're missing OG, you're missing Mitchell Robinson. We know how the Knicks defenses look like that. And we know that they're fine playing faster because that's what they've shown us. So I agree with that overlook. My bad. The cheese monster killing me. I agree with that overlook, but I don't know. Knicks was my first option. You like Pacers team total. That means you don't like the Knicks. That means you prefer the Pacers.
No, because the first game was Knicks 121 to 117. Knicks win, and they would cover 1.5 tonight. Second game was Knicks 130 to 121. Knicks win and cover. I'm a little afraid of the Knicks, but I'm not afraid of the Pacers getting their share of points. What I'll bring back to you is what you've said all season long. Can't trust a team that doesn't make stops. And Indiana, in that last game aside, Indiana hasn't really made stops, right? The Knicks were right there the game before. So I think I have a huge trust in Indiana to score in this series against this Knicks defense, but I don't have a heck of a lot of trust in their defense. So I guess what I should be saying, Skee, is I should be playing Indiana team total over and full game over, really, is where my whole analysis here leads you.
All right, I get that. So I'll agree with you on the full game over. I'm looking at the Knicks. I think that Pacers team total has a shot as well. So JB Brown says Pacers average 117 points this series. Guess a lot of people aren't thinking it's going to stop tonight. Let's move over to the next game. Last game we'll talk about for the night. Wolves and Nuggets. Nuggets are pretty much 4-point favorite everywhere now. Total looks like 206. Conley popping up on the injury report now. I did see something come up. Let's see. Late addition to the injury report, questionable with right Achilles soreness. Not a good sign if you like Minnesota. And then Jamal Murray, he's been on the injury report every game. He's listed as questionable again here tonight. Minnesota, after those first 2 games, it was like, damn, what are the Nuggets going to do? How are they even going to – I mean, is this series already over? Nuggets respond with 2 really good games. What we said ended up being the case. Aaron Gordon bringing the ball up to take some of that pressure off of Jamal Murray, and they were able to get him in spots where he has a little bit more space and can just operate quicker and doesn't have to deal with fighting for his life for 94 feet. So I think there were good adjustments made by Denver. I trust that we get good defensive effort from both of these teams. When you get Minnesota catching points, it just automatically has me interested. Like if this game was a pick 'em, I don't think I would be really wanting to take Minnesota, but just knowing that it could be a close game and we still get to the window, I mean, I think they'll be there at the end. So I guess I'll pass it to you. We'll talk it out. I'm leaning towards Timberwolves. Is there any way you can talk me off?
I don't think I can, Skee, because I can't talk you onto Denver. I mean, there's too much contradiction in this game for me. I mean, there's one school of thought where Denver has regrouped, and the way they've scored offensively, they've made it look pretty easy against a really, really good Minnesota defense. Put up, 115 last game, and then I think maybe 117 the game before. That's a lot of points to score against Minnesota on their home floor, no less, where I think you brought it up at one point last week. Minnesota's home defense was 8 points better than it was on the road, and that home defense got absolutely shredded by Denver, and the adjustments were great. It looked there's a lot of space, a lot of room to operate, and every time Minnesota came with a punch, Denver easily answered on the offensive end. with Jokic, Murray, and then Aaron Gordon. Will Aaron Gordon shoot from the perimeter the way he's been shooting? Because he's the guy they choose basically to let shoot from three. And he's been pretty good. All his points haven't been dunks. That being said, Anthony Edwards is unstoppable. Even when they know he's going to the rim, Skee, he gets to the rim. It's unbelievable to watch him. If he decides to do it, he's going to do it. 44 points the other night. And like we were just saying about Halliburton, possibly Halliburton, I don't know who it was who said something to Brunson, but we know that Jamal Murray was chirping at Anthony Edwards. And I guess this is where we find out, right? Because we always say words are a little bit cheap. And Anthony Edwards for 2 games now has been like, okay, they hit us. We'll punch back. He needs Karl Anthony Towns to punch back with him tonight. And I went back and looked because Towns took a lot of the blame, rightfully so, for last game. Didn't play well. But the first 3 games of this series, Skee, Cat was amazing. He was 22 of 35 from the field. That's 62.9% for first 3 games. And from 3, he was 9 of 14, 64%. So he had 1 bad game in the mix. He bounces back tonight, and I agree with you. Minnesota should be right there. I do wonder if I can just go back to the way you and I talked about the first game of this series, and where it was more of under talk than over, and the last 2 games have kind of been overs. I wonder when we get back to that under in this series, because this is now a 2-2 series, game 5, just about everything on the line, and I would expect both defenses to show here. So my initial lean in this game, and I haven't bet it yet, is to the under rather than the side. And I don't say under. It doesn't come out of my mouth very often, but I do think that in this instance, Minnesota will regroup. It's funny how Rudy Gobert disappears for a game and then comes back and Denver scores a lot, but I don't know that that's going to continue here. Minnesota is just too good on the defensive end. So I would say initial lean under, but I haven't bet it yet myself.
All right. I was considering, I really don't. I kind of want to include Denver's defense at the same time. Like, I think both defenses can play well, but I consider Nuggets team total under. Would you prefer full game under rather than that?
It's kind of hard for me to guess which side may go cold or which side, because we've seen both ends of it now, right? We've seen Minnesota absolutely hound Denver and make them look bad, and then we've seen Denver hound Minnesota and make them look bad. So it's hard to guess. I would rather put my faith that both of them show up here in a game 5 situation and possessions made. Denver's kind of a methodical team to begin with. We talk about this all season long, how their pace is slow. So I think we might get back to one of those games tonight where it's a little bit of a grind, and 206 just seems to be a shade too high.
All right. Well, I'm in agreement. I am looking towards an under in that game. I feel like it's a little bit tougher today than usual, but I think we talked it out good. And the chat mostly liking the Timberwolves. I think I only saw like one person liking the Nuggets. JB Brown says Nuggets are 80-18 at home the last 2 seasons.
Wow.
Can't bet against that. Well, they already got 2 losses this series, right? Who says they can't get another one here? Lit Picks likes what he was hearing from you there, Veno. Official Gym Class Podcast asking where's the Discord link. Yeah, if you're a level 2 member to the YouTube channel, you'll see in the community section there's a link for the Discord there. Hank asking, we leaning or we standing up straight?
That was good yesterday, I have to admit, when you told me I'm not leaning, I'm standing. Yeah.
This one, as of right now, I'm leaning in all kind of directions right now. So, or I'm not leaning in all kind of directions, but I am leaning. So maybe by the end of the day, I'll have my posture correct. Good stuff. We got through WNBA, NBA, and like we did a good job doing it. So on that note, we'll move it on over to the best bet segment. And like always, Veno, I'll ask you if there's anything you would like to promote. And we have WNBA now. Is there something in the women's, or is it NBA where you would like to share a best bet for the show?
All right, let's start with the promotional part. Wagertalk.com is the place I'm going to recommend to all The folks watching your show here, Skee, Wagertalk.com, kind of a one-stop shopping for all your handicapping needs. Every sport, every day covered, video analysis, written content. If you just drop your email address there, you'll get free access to all of that immediately. You can watch all the shows that I think they start like 11 a.m. on the East Coast with a hockey show. And it doesn't matter if you're betting something other than NBA. And if you are betting NBA, you can find shows over there in addition to the one you're watching here with Skee, wagertalk.com. If you're interested in selection packages, mine are always up and available. Again, I can say this now because I remember that. I'm remembering it that Skee puts it in the link. So the description to my homepage at wagertalk.com is in the link. You can find it right there. Selection's always up and available, including tonight from the NBA at wagertalk.com. For the show, Skee, I'm going to stand up straight, Hank. I won't lean here. I'll stand up for you. And I just can't, if it doesn't happen, Skee, it's not logic class. It's illogic class. But I have to play the Pacers team total over 108. They've done it 8 of 9 games now. They only play one way. They don't know any other way to play. The 2 times they were held under this particular number in the entire, in fact, the only 2 times they've been held under 111 in the entire postseason were the 2 games at Milwaukee, where I think they had jitters. First game jitters, game 5 closeout jitters, both on the road, didn't know what to do. They seem like they've got to beat on the Knicks as far as scoring against them is concerned. And the Knicks seem a little bit helpless to stop it. So they'll have to outscore them tonight, in my opinion. So I'm going to play Pacers team total, standing up straight over 108 here. Best bet for the show.
Thanks, sis. Stand tall, Veno.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Let me fix up. Let me get right here while I get my best bet.
Get up there.
I'm going to the WNBA. I like Sun first quarter -1.5. Like I mentioned earlier. Welcome to the WNBA, Caitlin Clark. You got everybody's attention. They don't want to be shown up at home in the first game of the season. The starting 5. They got the big 3. 4 of the 5 starters have continuity over there. A little bit of time to get used to each other in Indiana, I feel like, and missing a big scorer in Kelsey Mitchell. Sun, 3rd best first quarter margin team all last season. And every time they played this Fever team, they were up by at least 8 points in the first quarter out of the 3 games last year. So I think they'll do it again here tonight. My best bet is Connecticut Sun, first quarter -1.5. Rob, appreciate you coming on the show this week, Monday, Tuesday. I know you'll be away Wednesday through Friday, so enjoy your time with whatever you got going, and we'll get back to it again when you return. For you people in the chat, we appreciate you as well. A lot of great cappers, and we all have a good time getting to this money together. So I will be on. Let me not forget, I'll be on with Wham Bam, Babano, and Dutch at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be talking some more NBA, and until then, catch you guys. Peace.